Thank you, Rabbi Ruben, for letting me food and inviting us in. Welcome to the Seder. Woo! This is exciting. We made it. We're all here for liberation. This is wonderful. I'm Rabbi Chel Mandel, and I work in the Jewish Studies and Social Justice program. And Rabbi Neil Angel and I will be helping facilitate and usher us tonight from oppression to liberation. The Seder is participatory, so there's places in here that say all or that are folded, and we ask that you read along with us. The Hebrew prayers, we will help lead, and we invite you to sing or say along with us as well. Right outside, just for access, there's bathrooms right out to the right, and there's water at your table, there's water over there. If you are a reader tonight, you know who you are. Don't worry, you might hear us. Am I a reader? No. The readers know who they are, the students and some other guests. If you're a reader, you will come up when your number is up. And you can either come to this podium or the one over there. And just speak into the mic.
Come up a little beforehand.
Yeah, come up a little beforehand. There should be like 3 readers on deck, something like that. And I just want to say that this Seder is about asking questions and engaging, so if you feel moved at any point, you're like, what is going on? I have a question. You can just throw your hand up, because Seders are about asking questions, just like that.
I have a question. This matzo ball soup that looks and smells really good, can we eat it right now while it's hot?
Absolutely.
Okay. So,
Absolutely.
praise be the one who brings forth bon appetit's matzo ball soup. May it be delicious.
Amen.
And, feel free to eat and nosh on that while we're getting going and while the service is happening. And this is a service, and the order of the service is in your Haggadah. So if you would take your pink and blue Haggadah and open to the very first page, then you'll be following along with us. I'll begin. Welcome to our Passover Seder, a ritual of ancient origin and modern significance, observed for over 3,000 years. As Jews gather to retell the story of deliverance from Egyptian bondage, its power lies in the collective memory and loyalty of generations who've performed the Seder. It has also evolved over time to reflect new layers of meaning drawn from our own lived experiences. The story we tell is both that of our people and our journeys, connecting past struggles with present realities. This Haggadah weaves together voices from across time, incorporating stories and symbols that honor queer and trans experiences, as well as the trials and tribulations our people have faced throughout history and in recent times.
Since January 20th, 2025, the bodies of queer people, transgender people, and women have been under threat in significant ways. Under the Trump administration, we have witnessed efforts to block reproductive freedom for women's bodies, enforce an outdated and non-scientific gender binary, deny access to hormones and surgeries for trans youth, and eliminate supportive systems of diversity, equity, and inclusion across the United States. These actions are an attempt to erase queer and trans people. We will not be erased.
It does not matter if you identify as lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, plus, minus, or any additional terms, or any sexual or gender identity that has been oppressed, straight, or something else entirely. Tonight, we stand together in solidarity. All of us have experienced being akin to slaves, needing to flee Egypt, whether bound to social norms that embody injustice and discrimination, or carrying the weight of self-imposed pressure to conform to the status quo. Tonight, we fulfill this ancient calling, found in the Hebrew Bible. You shall keep the feast of unleavened bread, for this very day I brought your hosts out of Egypt. You shall observe this day throughout your generations as a practice for all times. Exodus 12:17.
Our tradition teaches that it isn't enough to tell the story of Exodus. We are reminded that each person in every generation must regard themselves as having been personally freed from Egypt. So tonight, we invite you to enter the story, whether you are LGBTQ plus identified or not. We invite you to enter the story and make it your own.
How is this Seder different from all other Seders?
Some elements of tonight's ritual will be familiar to you if you've been to a Seder before. At a traditional Passover Seder, you will find a plate with several ritual foods on it, as shown below. At tonight's Seder, there's also a plate, but it has a different ritual item on it. At a traditional Passover Seder, everyone drinks 4 glasses of wine. But tonight, instead of wine, we will be drinking water. Well, because it's a source of life and in solidarity with everyone in recovery.
Just a side note, now there are parts we might just skip over in the Haggadah, and that is tradition itself, because the Haggadah is long and it takes time, and we promise to get you out of here at 8 p.m. You will flip to page 3 and you will see a sample Seder plate. This is a more or less traditional Seder plate, but tonight we are queering the Seder plate in front of you. We often add symbols and ideas to bring us to the current moment. For example, I'm holding up some acorns. We might put acorns on a Seder plate to represent being on indigenous land. So we continue to add to the Seder plate year after year.
At traditional Seders, part of the order of the meal is washing hands. Queer Jews have been told for so long that they're dirty, unclean, and impure. So at this meal, there will be no hand washing to remind yourselves that we come to the Seder table whole and pure, always created in the image of the divine. Usually at a Passover Seder, a piece of matzah called the afikom is broken and half of it is hidden. At this Seder, there will be no afikom, no hidden matzah. The lives and stories of queer people have been systematically hidden from time immemorial. Tonight, we sit together in community, out, free, and proud.
Coming out is also a spiritual journey. Not unlike the coming out of our ancestors from Egypt that we celebrate at Passover, the closet is indeed a narrow space. It is in the open, in the wilderness of family, friendship, work, community, religion, sometimes welcoming, sometimes different, sometimes hostile, that we, individually and collectively, discover ourselves and our relationship to God.
When we were brought to Egypt in the Bible, we are not referring to the modern nation of Egypt. The Hebrew for Egypt is Mizraim, which actually means the narrowest place. This signifies the narrow valley of the Nile River, where most of Egyptian civilization developed and metaphorically represents the feeling of confinement and oppression experienced by the Israelites during their slavery in Egypt.
Tonight, while remembering our story of moving from oppression to liberation, we are reminded that this is possible. We feel the narrowness of the time we are in, where our queer and trans selves and siblings are under attack. We know there's an alternative world, and liberation is possible.
As you settle into this experience, notice your body and being. Consider where you may be feeling constricted. How do you begin to see yourself in this story of liberation? What feels hidden that you imagine one day being able to reveal?
Can you take 1 second and go around your table and introduce yourselves to each other so your names aren't hidden from one another? Some of you might be sitting next to friends, but surely there are people at your table you haven't yet met. So take a moment and just go around and hear each other's names.
And pronouns.
This is a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Tonight is different from all other nights, as we have never all been together. And likely, we will not all be together again for this particular ritual experience. So let us recite the blessing for all new beginnings, known as the Shehecheyanu, to mark a significant moment. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Shehecheyanu
The rainbow candle blessings. We queer our ritual by kindling the light of the festive rainbow candles. We cannot directly look into light. We can only see a small fragment of it. Just as the one light is refracted into many colors, so too do we embrace the beautiful diversity within our community. Let us give thanks for the colors that are ours. As we bask in the glow of these candles, we remember all the lights that we have kindled before, as progressive, forward-looking people. With this small spark, we rededicate ourselves to ignite hope and illuminate all people's dreams.
For the blessings of our bodies, all of them made in the image of God, and for rootedness in our connection to the sacred earth in all its beauty and abundance.
For the joint blessing of our sexuality and our creativity, for all how we can be fruitful and multiply, in joy and pleasure, crying out in praise.
Sahod, yellow.
For the blessing of our strength, our will, our capacity to survive and endure and move forward in a sacred way, with centeredness and clarity alone for all people.
Yeah, road.
For the blessing of heart connection, and for the holy blessing of the trees of life, their rich green leaves, offering shelter to lovers, their branches, a tabernacle of joy.
Chachol.
For the blessing of speech, words pour forth like water, psalms, prayers, and celebration songs echo back to the one who spoke all things into existence.
Sagol.
For the blessing of spirit, of soul, the holy blessing of our connection to the source of life, the creator of all that is. Blessing upon blessing, to speak, to share, to celebrate, to taste, again and again, and let us say, Amen.
And on the Kaba Beach says, together, let us not forget that in times like these, the beautiful colors of the rainbow, no wait, all together now, let's do it. Okay. Let us not forget that in times like these, the beautiful colors of the rainbow may not always be seen or felt, but we will endure and persevere together. The candles remind us that we as a community keep the light going even in the worst times. We are part of life. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher ishana b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu ha'amer shel yom tov. Blessed are you, source of life, who has hallowed us by your commandments, commanded us to kindle accessible lights.
Performing acts of resistance and civil disobedience. Queering. Queering refers to the practice of challenging, subverting, and deconstructing normative ideas about gender, sexuality, identity, and power. More broadly, queering can be applied to any system, tradition, or narrative. Reimagining it in ways that disrupt binary, cis-heteronormativity, or oppressive frameworks. Queering Karpas. Do I have a student or reader? Cool. You go up to that one.
Queering karpas is the leafy, so traditionally karpas is the leafy green vegetable representing sweet and new growth that we dip into salt water to recall the tears of slavery in Egypt. We mix the sweetness with the bitterness because we know that no moment exists without a multitude of combinations: sorrow and joy, pain and comfort, despair and hope.
Exotic fruit. Tonight, for our Karpas ritual, we use exotic fruit. Throughout history, gay men and queer people were sometimes called fruit people. While it was meant as an insult, tonight we take it as a blessing in disguise, a recognition of the sweet breath of creation. Tonight we honor strange fruit that is ripe with the possibility of miracles. Today we recognize that there is more than just one way to be fruitful and to multiply. Tonight, before we taste, we hesitate and remember the fear and hostility many feel when faced with something they think is strange, different, and forbidden. Tonight we open to the miracle and bring to taste the sweet fruits born from the seeds planted by our courageous forebears in all movements for freedom. We're going to pause and we'll come back to Karpas, I swear. Queering Karpas will still be there.
the Seder tonight with performing arts and moments of embodiment. And as queer people, we are going to use our voices and our bodies to bring us in. We left off at the top of page 5 with the, actually at the bottom of page 5, with the blessing, Borei Pri Ha'etz. We can say it together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Borei Pri Ha'etz.
Pick up the parsley on your table. Everybody has a little piece of parsley on their
Like this.
plate. And it's the green symbol of spring. And you also should find a little tiny cup of salt water, a little white cup. And that is meant for you to dip your parsley, your symbol of spring, into the tears, the bitterness, and mix the sweet with bitter, and then you can eat it. Rabbi Chill,
Yeah,
the 4 questions is next.
I know. Go for it.
Okay, 4 questions. Also, this is a responsive reading, so when it's bold, you can read with me. It is customary at every Passover Seder for the youngest person present to recite 4 ancient questions that our ancestors asked about the festival of liberation from Egypt. These questions begin with, why is this night different from all other nights? Tonight, to honor a different event in history, we ask 4 other questions. Why are LGBTQIA+ people different from all other people?
We are different from all other people because we come from other people.
What is the sacred role of LGBTQIA+ people?
Because we come from other peoples, we are bridge builders and connectors. We are ambassadors and weavers between worlds.
How are LGBTQIA people the same as all other people?
We believe as all people believe, and we love and laugh and cry and sing as do all human beings. Before we are transgender, bisexual, intersex, lesbian, gay, we are human. And this we share with everyone in the world.
Where do LGBTQIA+ people come from, and what is our story?
We are gathered here tonight around the festive table to tell parts of our story of our queer nation. May all who are hungry for this story come and listen. Tonight we tell the tale of our liberation.
Magid, telling our tales and our queer symbols. And you shall tell your child on that day, saying, it is because of what God did for me when I went free from Egypt. We retell our story as the Torah teaches us to do so. This reminds us of our history so that we do not repeat it. Who here knows our history? The items on a traditional Passover Seder plate are all symbolic of liberation from slavery in Egypt. Our queer symbols represent our collective memory and history. The pink triangle.
Under the Nazi rule, those deemed homosexual wore a pink triangle in the work camps, as Jews wore the yellow star. Today, queer folk wear this as a symbol of our commitment to justice for all. The AIDS Coalition to Unleash Power, ACT UP, used the pink triangle in their Silence Equals Death campaign to protest the AIDS epidemic during the 1980s. ACT UP's use of the pink triangle was a way to reclaim the symbol and draw attention to the AIDS crisis. German Jewish refugee and Reform Rabbi Alexander Schindler said, "Not so long ago, many in this room would have been wearing the pink triangle as a badge of shame and a mark of death. Today, we wear it as a badge of honor and resistance and identity."
So before we say this blessing all together, I want to invite you to take a sticker from your table. You all have them on your tables in the center. Take one, and if you're willing, stick it on yourself. This is called homo work. Yeah, you get to go be out in the world with your pink triangle and live and see how that feels, whether you're queer identified or not. Try it out. Identify yourself as being with a pink triangle and wear it and see what that action feels like. There's also like a pin on the Seder plate on your table. And maybe there's someone at your table who would like to wear this and take it home with them beyond the sticker. The pin lasts longer than the sticker, but I invite you tonight to don the pink triangle. At the bottom, 7, Together, read with me. Blessed are those who were forced to be publicly marked with an oppressive symbol in all times and all places. May they always be remembered through us in our lives. May we reclaim those symbols and use them in our resistance.
The bundle of sticks, to remind us of the men bound together and burned at the stake for their love, and of the burning of women called witches, because they chose to live their lives outside the realm of the patriarchy. To remind us of the trans and non-binary people who have always existed and who live their truth visibly every day, we honor you.
Find your faggots at your table. On every table,
These ones.
there is a bundle of sticks, found and collected by our elder Joss Eldridge, and wrapped with loving care, so that we can hold this up and remind ourselves. Read with me these words. Curse is the flame that destroys, the flame that kills. May it be snuffed out forever. And blessed are our siblings of all genders who were martyred in years past. Oh God, remember their sacrifices and help us bring an end to hate and oppression of every kind. So you can set your faggots down. But then you'll see on the table, on every Seder plate where there's matzah, there's also some little bricks. Someone from your table,
Mini bricks.
find your bricks.
Mini bricks, you have to find them.
Find your mini bricks. Someone from the table. I'll show you our brick. Is this piece of pink triangle brick. And James, go for it.
Bricks and stones. We remember Compton's cafeteria in our city, here in San Francisco's Tenderloin area, where the trans community would congregate from the 1940s to the 1970s. In 1966, trans women stood up against police harassment and fought back. This was known as Compton's cafeteria riots. We remember the bricks of resistance thrown at the police on the night of the Stonewall riot, the event that started the modern-day LGBTQ+ rights movement in June 1969.
Today, in 2025, the Stonewall site in New York City remains a cherished queer and trans monument, honoring leaders whose names are inscribed in its legacy. Yet, as of February, the current administration has directed the National Park Service to remove references to transgender people from its website, an attempt to erase trans history and existence. In this critical moment, we protest these efforts and stand up against the pharaohs of our time in their efforts to marginalize trans and queer communities. We reaffirm our commitment to resist oppression and protect one another. The fight continues.
In Egypt, we made bricks as slaves. At Stonewall, we used bricks to free ourselves. Blessed is the spirit of freedom. Blessed is the one who moves us to free ourselves. Blessed are the bricks and stones of earth and from earth, given voice by our actions. On every table, you'll see there's a colored cup that's empty. Someone from your table, hold up the empty colored cup. Danica.
An empty cup. We have an empty cup to remind us of our unlimited potential and creativity to be who we are in this world. We are overflowing with love and joy, being in queer and trans bodies, even in the face of oppression. When our cup may appear empty and the world feels bleak, we are full of hope.
Reflect. Where do you find hope? Share some of the sources from where you draw strength. Take 60 seconds at your table and share, where do you find hope? So that might be one person sharing at the table, or two or three, but share out loud.
So join me together, holding that empty cup high. Blessed is the empty cup. With me, full of potential. potential possibilities. Blessed is the cup waiting to be filled. Blessed is the cup unfolding. Blessed is the source of life, who creates us all in its image, full of love, strength, wisdom, and dreams. And if, more than an empty cup, you have an empty stomach, and you're looking for some more matzo ball soup, we have more. So feel free to help yourself. If you're looking for more matzo ball soup, there is more. And there'll be some folks, some volunteers at the serving tables, like Professor Krolzilden, to help. Thank you. Okay, the orange. Everyone at their table, find their orange. Someone hold it up.
The orange. The tradition of placing an orange on the Seder plate during Passover is a modern practice symbolizing the inclusion of marginalized groups, particularly LGBTQ+ Jews and feminists. This custom is often misattributed to a rabbi claiming that a woman belongs on the bima as much as an orange belongs on the Seder plate. However, the actual origin of this practice comes from Dr. Susanna Heschel, who introduced the orange in the 1980s as a way to show solidarity with lesbians and women who felt excluded from Jewish traditions. The orange represents both inclusion and resistance to homophobia and sexism within Jewish communities.
Then find your colored ribbons, your trans ribbons. There should be enough on the table that you could take one with you. You could don it now. You can save it for later. What's it mean?
Colored ribbons. The transgender ribbon includes blue and pink to represent male and female genders, while the white line breaking it up creates a reminder that some of us are in between, non-binary, or in transition. This flag signals support and solidarity within the trans community. We stand for trans rights and will fight for you.
All together.
Blessed is the source of creation who creates endless variety. Thank you. Everybody has some matzah on their table. There should be enough, a piece for everyone. So take a piece of matzah, pass it around. It's the flattened bread. You'll hear what it is. Everybody take a piece of matzah.
Matzah is unleavened bread, made to remember the bread our ancestors baked in Egypt, which did not have time to rise before they fled to freedom. At a traditional Seder, the matzah remains covered until it is time to eat it. At this Seder, the matzah remains uncovered to remind us of the sacredness of our bodies, including our senses, that the physical world, which includes our bodies, is holy and nothing to be ashamed of. We acknowledge the deep spiritual nourishment found in physical contact with others. As we hold this truth, we also hold the attack currently taking place against non-binary and transgender bodies. Our bodies are all sacred.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Blessed are you, source of life, who brings forth bread from the earth. Please have a taste. Eat some or all of that matzah in front of you. And you'll also notice on your table is a bowl of charosis, a sweet mixture made of apples and nuts and I think grape juice, and it's meant to represent the bricks and the mortar of slavery, and funny how it's sweet too. You can ask questions about that, but help yourself to try the matzah with some charosis and a little parsley. That could be your bitter, and you'll have a little sandwich of these edible reminders of our history. Then, all of you have white cups and pitchers of water. If you would take time now to go help each other fill cups of water for our next part of the ceremony, which is the blessing over the cup of water. So make sure everyone gets some water so we don't make empty blessings. And also so we stay hydrated. It's so important on a day like today. Water going around, charosis going around, matzah with charosis. There's also more charosis, so our goal is to not let anyone go home hungry. You have your fill of charosis. Don't let those bowls, if you have an empty bowl of charosis, there's a place to fill it on either side with more. So everyone has some charosis made by Byrite. This is the Byrite charosis. Actually, it's not Byrite's charosis.
And polystones, but who's, yeah.
Okay,
The blessing
Holly.
over the cup of water.
Raise your cup high with your cup of water, with water in your cup. Raise it.
Water in this cup is here to remind us of our long history of invisibility. Tonight we drink to those who are left out of the stories of our people. Our dear parents and ancestors, past, present, and future. We drink to those who labored to restore their memories, using modern words to bless this water, written in feminine Hebrew to celebrate a new era.
Nivarech ein hachayim yotzer ha'olam borei mayim chayim. Together, let us bless the wellspring of life, creator of the universe, who made living waters. So please drink up your water. And then be sure to refill it with more water, because we're about to perform a ritual of reciting the plagues, and it involves taking some water from our now refilled cup. Okay. The plagues.
For this time, I will send all of my plagues upon you, your warriors, and your people, in order that you may know that there is none like me in all the world. I could have stretched forth my hands and stricken you and your people with pestilence, and you would have been obliterated from the earth. However, I have spared you for this purpose, in order to show you my power, and so that my name may resound throughout all the world.
In the context of Exodus story, in which God liberates the Israelites from slavery in Egypt, God breaks the poses of the paths of Pharaoh and the Egyptians because Pharaoh repeatedly refuses to let the Israelites go. They are recounted, and this comes as part of the Passover Seder. Plagues on queer and trans people. It is tradition for each plague to dip our finger into wine and mark our foot, symbolizing the suffering and devastation the plagues brought on the Israelites. Some do this to mark the collective punishment all the Egyptians received due to the Pharaoh's choices. Tonight, however, to alter this ritual, dip our fingers into the water instead, honoring the deep wells of resilience within us. As we touch our plates, we acknowledge the painful and unjust plagues that queer and trans people endure: oppression, violence, erasure, and fear. With each drop, we bear witness to their struggles, their courage, and the unyielding spirit of a community that refuses to be extinguished.
So we usually do this with wine, we're doing this with water. I will say one of these plagues, and you will dip your finger in the water and then on your plate.
And repeat after you.
And you'll repeat after me. Misgendering.
Misgendering.
Well done. Dead naming.
Dead naming.
Violence and hate crimes.
Violence and hate crimes.
Internalized homophobia and transphobia.
Internalized homophobia and transphobia.
Social isolation.
Social isolation.
Lack of representation.
lack of representation,
closeting,
closeting,
discrimination in healthcare,
discrimination in healthcare,
denial of identity,
denial of identity,
the silencing of voices.
the silencing of voices.
One of the immediate effects of the new administration has been the removal of transgender women from women's prisons, forcing them to relocate to men's prisons. This move exposes them to severe mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual harm. These women face an increased risk of violence and trauma, and many have been denied access to essential transgender health care, including medications and surgeries. Tonight, we bring these women into our hearts and minds, acknowledging their suffering and standing in solidarity with their fight for justice and dignity.
We recall those who did not live to see this moment and those who cannot openly celebrate their identity and connection to God. We remember the many trans youth who have taken their own lives in a world where they felt they were not accepted. We reflect that our liberation is still incomplete, and we know that we are part of a chain of generations who may not complete the work, but are still obliged to continue it. We honor them by the drops of water we pour out to remember those who fought for our freedom and lost or died in the process of becoming who they truly were.
Transgender healthcare continues to be under threat today as gender-affirming care for youth is installed. Trans adults face constant threats around access to care and support by doctors.
We face a myriad of challenges today. It can feel like plagues are around every corner or every newsfeed and social media scroll. We live in a time where the plagues are more visible, undeniable, and threatening than many of us have experienced in our lifetimes. We also know that the plagues come and go with community care and strategic resistance. We cannot give up the struggle.
Nevarech in hachayim yotzeret ha'olam borei mayim chayim. Drink that second cup of water, and say with me, let us bless the wellspring of life, creator of the universe, who made living waters. I'd like to invite Professor Christine Young to say a word or two about what's next.
Hello. So I am a professor in the Rhetoric and Language Department and a former artist, and also a member of Congregation Shar Zahav, the story of the LGBT synagogue in San Francisco. And I work with students in Professor Neil Queer and Religion class to creatively queer the Singer story. So we have two scenes tonight. They're kind of composite scenes from different perspectives on the story. That was part of the assignment, was to look at the story through the points of view of people who may have been part of the story, whose points of view are not always expressed. So first we're going to have a group presenting some scenes about the last play. We'll invite our performers to come up to the stage.
Wake up. What? What is it? Guess what I heard the guard say? What? Listen. Oh. What is that? Crying? What is that? True. Wailing all around us. What do you think happened? I heard the guard say there's been a horrible plague. It killed the firstborn of every Egyptian, even the Pharaoh. What? How did that happen? Why? Well, see, I was talking to the guard, and then I was talking to Meredith, and then I was talking to Lilith, and then Adam, and then Eve, and they did tell me that it was sent from God. Oh my God, wait. I don't even know how to contact my family. Like, I don't know if my son's alive. What? Did you ask about your son? I have no son, silly. Steve and I can't have kids, we're both men. And surrogates nowadays, I mean, the prices are through the roof. That's kind of the reason why I ended up in this prison, you know? Oh, how? What did you do? Well, it wasn't murder. Tax evasion. Yep. I see. Okay, well, can you help me get the guard's attention to ask about my son, please? Yeah, sure, whatever. Guards! Guards!
I was just a simple cow, roaming fields, living proud. Didn't know what sin I'd done. Didn't fight, didn't run. They put blood upon the door, say it's keeping them secure. But I don't see no sign for me. Guess I'm part of this decree. Oh. Pharaoh cries, firstborn gone, but I see my kin fall one by one. Didn't think this fight was mine, but now I'm breathing my last time. Oh, what did I do? What did I do? I never ruled, I never lied, just chewed my grass and moved. Oh, somebody tell me, what did I do? They say justice has to come, that the Hebrews won't be shunned. But while they flee toward the sea, ain't nobody saving me. No staff was raised to set them free. No parted ways, no prophecy. The lambs still stand, the children cry. But all my kind just lay and die. Oh, what did I do? What did I do? Just a cow, living life, now I fade into the blue. Oh, somebody tell me, what did I do?
Thank you for creating that. A third cup. Fill your cup with water a third time.
Stay hydrated.
God summoned Moses and Aaron in the night and said, "Up, depart from among my people, you and the Israelites with you. Go worship Yahweh?"
Sure.
Go worship Yahweh, as he said. Exodus 12:31. Exodus Rabbah is a midrash, or rabbinic narrative, that provides deeper insight into the biblical text. It teaches that even when pleas for freedom are met with resistance and the ruler refuses to grant liberation, God's plans are greater. No earthly decree can stand against the divine, whose power is fully revealed in this narrative. Here's what Exodus Rabbah says about Exodus 14:21-22.
Then Moses held out his arm over the sea and drove back the sea with a strong east wind all that night and turned the sea into dry ground. The waters were split.
Midrash tells the story of Nashon. The Israelites stood at the edge of the Red Sea, trapped between the waters. Before them, and Pharaoh's army behind them. Fear gripped the people, their cries rising up. Moses lifted his staff, waiting for the sea to part, let them be covered.
In the silence, one man stepped forward, Nashon, son of Aminadab. Without hesitation, he waded into the water. The sea rose to his knees, then his waist. The people gasped as he kept walking. The water reached his chest, then his chin. Just as it threatened to cover his head, the sea split.
Walls of water towered on either side, and the Israelites rushed forward, crossing to freedom. It was Nachshon's courage, his unwavering faith in taking that first step that made the miracle possible. I have a mini miracle for you. There's sweet macaroons on every table, and that's the dessert part of the portion of the meal. So start eating them because there's so many. They're delicious. They're macaroons, coconut macaroons with chocolate, and feel free to devour the plates. And now some original liturgy by the author herself. Page 12.
Deep breath, everyone, deep breath. Judy Garland was buried on Friday, June 27th, 1969. That night, the New York City police set out to close a gay bar, the Stonewall Inn. The raid did not go as planned. The clientele of the Stonewall not only occupied ground outside of mainstream American culture, but gay society itself. Transvestites, effeminate men, and butch women, runaways, hustlers, and outsiders
those who no longer cared what anyone thought of them. As patrons of the bar were led to the waiting police wagons, a crowd gathered and began to boo the cops. How the actual fight started depends on who you talk to, but the crucial part is this. Bottles, beer cans, and rocks began sailing out of the crowd, aimed at the police. The onslaught was so ferocious that the cops took shelter in the bar and called for help. For 3 nights, street battles raged. Few knew it then, but it was the start of a new chapter in the modern movement for human rights. The very word Stonewall became a vital part of the gay vocabulary and meant, quite simply, uprising. The impact was enormous, and the movement it sparked is alive and well today. The uprising at Stonewall proceeded by 7 years the release of the movie Network, known worldwide for the famous line, "I'm mad as hell, and I'm not going to take it anymore." And they didn't. On Friday, the 27th of June, Judy Garland was buried. And a new human movement with an astonishing vigor and strength was born. Nothing would ever be the same again.
The gun had a silencer on it, but they heard it anyway. It moved across the dark alley, past their faces in the thick southern night. They moved on through the dark, and the pickup truck drove away. They went through the door with no number into the dark basement bar that held their friends, that held their fragile freedom. They danced and kissed in the dark, but they always watched the door. And just like that, everything was different. And a sunset and a sunrise, and and newspapers scattered across a breakfast table, and a voice on the radio telling a story in short sentences, a story of something seemingly small that happened a long way away. Then they kissed in restaurants and walked several abreast down a busy sidewalk, talking too loudly and singing freedom songs. Then they bought lesbian novels and took them to their literature classes. And then they kissed in restaurants.
Bless those who put on suits and ties, heels and dresses, and walked picket lines with signs that talked of homosexual rights, who said, "We're people too, and the Constitution belongs to all of us." Bless them for breaking the trail, coming out long before it was fashionable, when the risks were real and personal. And bless the ones who finally fought the relentless street fight, who pushed the police back and made them call for help, who ignited a nation and made it clear to their tribe that we didn't have to take this anymore, who gave us a name to rally around, Stonewall, and laid the groundwork for an unimaginable national day of gay pride. Bless them with the gift that truly matters, adding our hands to the struggle.
Join us all together. This cup, raise that cup high, is for Marsha P. Johnson and Sylvia Rivera and all those who fought back. Join me. The water in this cup is strong, strong enough to carve great canyons from solid rock. The water of this cup
stone wall, and again today in the face of fascism. We drink from this cup to remember them and be inspired by their strength. As we drink the water in this cup, we take in its power, the power to propel us forward in the fight for LGBTQ equality.
Professor Kurtz, will you tell us about this song?
I certainly will. Hi everybody, my name is Thomas. I teach music here at USF. Ironically, I cannot sing well. But we are going to do this together. We are going to sing a protest anthem by Holly Near entitled Singing for Our Lives. A little background about the piece. This song was first performed in response to the assassination of Harvey Milk, who was our first openly gay political supervisor here in San Francisco. He was assassinated on November 27, 1978, here on the steps of City Hall in San Francisco. And Holly Near was attending a rehearsal for the San Francisco Gay Men's Chorus at the same time. And when they heard of the news, everybody was organizing or planning to organize on the steps of City Hall for a candlelight vigil. And it was there where Holly Near composed the song and taught the chorus and everybody there in attendance to be able to sing the song. And the song has since been performed many times in multiple iterations, but the lyrics are changed each time. So if you look at your text, the lyrics are changed to reflect tonight's occasion. What I want to do is play for you the melody on my saxophone, so you actually can hear the melody accurately, not from the voice. And then we will all sing it together. Okay?
that has blessed the wellspring of life, creator of the universe, who made the living waters. Then fill up that glass one more time. We have a fourth cup, which is the cup on the way to liberation. And in a moment, we will ask for the Midrash performance piece of the Red Sea. All those performers will come and join us at the front. Okay, in the middle of the page on 14, this quote from the Hebrew Bible that combines with the cup of liberation. Then Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and the divine one drove the sea back with a strong east wind all night and turned it into dry land. The waters were divided, and the Israelites went through the sea on dry ground, with walls of water on their right and on their left.
Okay, so God told me that if I just wave my hands, the seas would part?
Hey, C2, get a load of Moses here. He thinks just because he can talk with God, it can tear us apart. Isn't that ridiculous?
Yeah, come on, Moses. We've been together since God made the land and sea. It's going to take more than that to get us to move.
You guys talk. We talk, Moses. Look, we're God's creations, just like you guys are. The difference is that you guys use us like all the time without our consent.
It's not messed up, Moses. We aren't just tools for projects.
Wow, I didn't know you guys had such complex feelings. Well, you know what? I'm sorry, guys.
Oh!
Dude, this is totally unnatural.
Guys, you didn't have to do this for me. Well, thank you so much, though. All my people really appreciate it.
We chased them down to the shore, and I thought our victory was sure. Moses held out his arm, and we watched with alarm as the ocean split before. We followed them into the sea, for what kind of soldier would I be if I did not make haste, and I did not give chase? But it seemed the only concerned was me. When low on the horizon, smoke and shroud, rising in the distance, fire and cloud, our chariots stalled as I watched appalled as screams began to erupt from the crowd. The water swirled around us, rising higher than the eye could see. I tried to turn back, to escape the formidable sea. My fellow soldiers began to cry.
Wait, are we gonna die?
But by then, it was too late to flee.
The screams and silence that ensued soon after I became whole again was indicative that the Egyptians had passed. I felt them floating through my body, followed the course to shore where they lay and rested at last. The chaos between the Israelites and the Egyptians fell, with both on either side of me, the Israelites gazing across at the fallen Egyptians. God's creations, two forms of man, confused me. How can each creation of theirs be ultimately pitted against each other, divided and not in unity? I mustn't speak ill of them, for she created me and this earth, but he also takes away, in which God used me to pass along the Egyptians and free the Israelites.
I'm so grateful to you, Professor Young, for helping us make these ancient texts relevant and compelling, from giving students a chance to see and step into a different point of view than is the one in the story. So that was really everything we wanted it to be. Page 16 in the middle, raise up that fourth cup. and read with me. This cup is for those who refuse to stand still.
Minorities, women, and queers. Like rain, like streams, like rivers flowing toward the sea. The water of this cup is about change, about movement, about transformation. We take it into ourselves and merge it with its fluid creativity. We are mostly water ourselves. Together, let us bless the wellspring of life, creator of the universe, who made living waters.
Drink up and pour one final cup, the fifth cup.
Just.
We're going to bring the mic to you. I'll bring the mic to you. This is a piece that I cherish.
Another deep breath. They say cold feet are a sign of turning back, the failure of internal will. But I say it can be the other way. The body's anticipation of things to come. Whether demons are nipping at your heels or gnawing within. Here's the thing. Settle quietly. Close your eyes. Then take the most deliberate, deep breath, as though it were the very first God's breath. And when you can feel it penetrate every bit of your being, making the rest of your life possible, you open your eyes and take that first step out into the sea of reeds. Watered feet are just the price of coming home.
We're skipping ahead. We just have a few more things to read. Of course, everything in the Haggadah, and you can take these with you, is worth reading. We can't read it all tonight. I'd like to invite everyone who's in Queering Religion to come and prepare for our song, Seasons of Love. But quietly, because I also want to do something and tell you about something that's not in the Haggadah. Someone at your table, find what looks like this on your table. Find what looks like this on your table. There should be one for everyone who wants one of these. This is called an act of resistance. This is called not waiting. This is an interim strategy. So there aren't enough gender-neutral bathrooms in our campus. There's not even one for every classroom building. So you may know or may want. I'm hoping you'll take this with you. It's meant to be reused. This painter's tape comes on and off. So if you find yourself in a building where there isn't a bathroom that's for you, don't hesitate to take out your all-gender restroom sign and stick it on the women's bathroom door on that floor in that building. Why the women's bathroom? Because they're all separate stalls. So it still maintains privacy, and you don't have to worry about that. It's nothing about the women getting picked on. It's that I'm a woman, I want to go to a private stall, but I don't care if you're any other gender in that private stall in that space with me. These are meant to be safe and used and shared. I can't tell you that you will be safe using it out in the world, but on the USF campus, I'd like to think that this will enable you to feel a certain measure of empowerment and ability to be doing what you're supposed to be doing in school, which is studying and being focused, not worrying about where the F is the bathroom I can use, or how many people are waiting in front of me to use it. So take this with you, make sure it gets to people who will use it, and there we go.
Feeling good?
25,600 minutes, 525,000 moments so dear, 525,600 minutes. How do you measure a year? In daylights, in sunsets, in midnights, in cups of coffee, in inches, in miles, in laughter, in stride. 525,600 minutes. How do you measure a year in the life? How about love? How about love? How about love? Measuring love. Seasons of love, seasons of love. 525,600 minutes, 525,000 journeys to plan, 525,600 minutes. How do you measure in truth that she learned, or in times that he cried, in bridges he burned, or the way that she died? It's time now to sing out, 'cause the story never ends. Let's celebrate, remember the year in the life of friends. Remember that. Seasons of love, seasons of love, seasons of 525,600 minutes, 525,000 journeys so dear, 525,600 minutes. How do you measure a year? In daylights, in sunsets, in midnights, in cups of coffee, in inches, in miles, in laughter, in stride. In 525,600 minutes. How do you measure a year in the life? How about love?
You may be seated. We're at the end. We are on the last page, I don't know, something like 16, 17, 16. Reverend Dr. Megan will come up. And together we say, with this fifth cup, drink your fifth cup of water and say, let us bless the wellspring of life, creator of the universe, who made living waters. Now this is not their Haggadah, but it is a totally Jewish tradition that any Haggadah you have would not be complete if people didn't add something else to it. So here we are. Here's an edition that didn't make it into the printed version, but is so important.
Nancy Nagaroni speaking at the 1994 Boston Pride. Someone once asked me, "Are you really queer?" And I said, "Honey, I'm a transsexual. If that isn't queer, I don't know what is." And they asked me, "Are you really proud to be transgender?" And I said, "Am I proud? You mean, am I proud to be uncovering the truth about gender? Am I proud to be exposing beliefs that are not true? Am I proud to have made peace with myself and to be sharing it with others? Am I proud to be pursuing a life that keeps me growing? Am I proud to have found the courage to show my true nature? Am I proud to be associated with others like myself?" You're damn right I'm proud. So to all those who still hide their true beauty, to those who care about where our society is heading, and especially those who fear for the welfare of their families, hear us today and take heart. Whatever your color, size, ability, beliefs, origin, language, income, gender, sexual orientation, or your special interests, or citizenship status, join us in cultivating pride and freedom of expression for everyone.
The seal of completion. At this point in the Seder, we traditionally say, "Next year in Jerusalem," expressing a longing to return to the land of Israel and Palestine. This year, we choose to forego the specific phrase and instead call for a future where everyone who calls this land home can live in, it says peace and justice, but actually you have to flip those around because justice has to come before peace. So justice and peace. We pray for an immediate end to the violence. We pray for the displacement of people to cease. And we pray for a time of healing and reconciliation for all peoples. Join with me. Though
Neither the work nor the remembering will ever be finished in our lifespan. We have completed this Seder. May our words here tonight have meaning throughout the coming year. May all of us, of every gender and sexual orientation, feel a more thoughtful, more intense sense of pride in the year ahead. May we recognize that liberation is not a destination, but an ongoing labor of love, and that no one is free until all the bonds are cut. May it be so speedily and soon, and let us say, next year not next year, now. Not anywhere else, but here and now. Everywhere and always. Amen. Amen. Selah.
I invite Rabbi Reuben to sing us out. And if you can stay and help us clean up, you can do that after this. And if there's any food on your table, you should definitely take that. And
Does
take
that mean
lots of balls to go.
It does not mean that every orange someone should take home.
Yeah.
Does that mean every kiwi someone should take home?
Every kiwi?
And all the matzah and macaroons and hard-boiled eggs, don't let any food go to waste. If no one wants it, we'll take it.
If I want to take home a bundle of faggot, can I do that too?
Only for you. Only for you.
You really should.
Thank you.
Kansamea, happy Passover, everyone. We are ending with a song you're all going to sing. One of the central moments of the Passover Seder is when we say, "B'chol tov adocha yadam lirot et atzmo ki'ihu yatsa miMitzrayim," which means, in every generation, it is critical that every person thinks of our own self as personally having come out of Egypt. Not our ancestors, us, me. Bernice Johnson Reagan said, I think, the same thing in a different way. She wrote a wonderful song called "We Are the Ones We've Been Waiting For."
So if you would sing it with me, that would be great. All you have to do is this. We are the ones, we are the ones, we've been waiting. That's it, here we go. We are the ones, we are the ones, we've been waiting. Keep going. We are the ones, we are the ones, we are. You can keep doing that, or you can join me on the melody. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the ones we've been waiting. One more time, like we mean it. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the ones we've been waiting for. Hands in the air.
Well, we couldn't have done it without each and every one of you, so I hope this is a memory of an experience you're going to take with you. Take the Haggadah, bring it to friends, offer to make a Passover Seder for someone some year. This is a great history, and you can imagine all the symbols here and do it again for yourself. You can also